In classic introductory microeconomic texts, we're kind of used to thinking about the firm as a black box. It's a market participant, it buys resources, it produces something with it, or with those resources, it sells it to consumers, and it makes a profit out of the production. But we never really look at what's going on inside the firm while doing all those things. And I believe now is a good time to fix this mistake with traditional introductory level economic courses. So, the firm is a crucial player in an economy. But what is it? Let's revisit the classic definition first. Any firm is an organization of people which hires people and pays them wages. Now, it hires additional inputs such as physical and human capital and material inputs and pays them their factor prices, such as rents and price of electricity and a wage premium. Now, in doing so, the firm combines these factors of production to produce certain output of goods and services, which we denote with Q, signaling that the firm is producing a certain quantity of goods and services. And why would the firm do all of that? Well, yes, to make a profit, which we typically denote with the Greek letter pi. But somehow, behind the scenes of all this hiring of factors, putting them all together, producing and selling something to consumers, somewhere along the way, we forgot that in any firm, there are people. And when people are involved, then things are rarely as simple as they seem. So this week, we'll look at the firm from an organizational standpoint, and we'll address the following key question. How does it operate? What happens inside the firm while the firm is doing all those things above? Now, a firm typically consists of three groups of economic agents. Owners, who are represented by a board of directors, mid-level managers, and workers. Now, typically, owners care about the profits of the firm and mandate a growing profit to the board of directors. The board of directors typically takes that goal seriously and sets the strategic goals that mid-level managers then translate into tasks for workers. If the strategy is well formulated and well implemented, then profits and growth follows. But notice that sometimes, actually very often, there is miscommunication. Behind every one of these manager and worker desks, there are real people. And real people do tend to fail from time to time to execute what they're told. As that happens, workers underreport problems and overreport achievements. And same goes for mid-level managers. We call this phenomena asymmetric information. The mismatch between what you know and what your counterparty knows in a certain relationships. Now, to minimize the problems that arise due to asymmetric information, senior managers typically employ mid-level managers on contracts, and the same is valid for mid-level managers who employ the workers. So those arrangements between the owners, the managers, and the workers that ensure the firm executes on its strategy are set out in contracts. Contracts make sure that the goals of everyone involved in the firm are aligned. But is this really what's going on in a firm? Managers often pursue their own best interest rather than the interest of the firm. Workers often shirk from the job because they feel they don't get adequate work compensation. And therefore, even if contracts aim at aligning everyone's goals in the firm, they remain incomplete. Incomplete in the sense that they can't really specify everything that managers and workers need to do to achieve the strategic goals of the firm. There are many reasons why contracts are incomplete, but most boil down to two. First, asymmetric information about how much the worker will actually be able to contribute to the job they're hired for. And second, the effort that that a worker puts into the work is very often unobservable. Take the example of a call center. Can the employer really see how many calls a caller makes per day? Well, if yes, can they really observe how hard the worker tries satisfying customer needs? Well, not really. But the same issue stands between managers and owners. If we are the owners, we know that certain senior managers work harder than others or are more effective than others. But do we really know why? Do we really know how they do it? Not necessarily. And this is precisely why we say that most contracts are inherently incomplete. They can specify a 37.5-hour working week, but can they really specify exactly what happens during those hours? No. No contract can cover all the contingencies. No contract can plan for all the situations that can occur on the job. But then, if worker effort is unobservable and if contracts are incomplete, we as managers of the firm are facing a crucial question: how to make workers give it out the best they can for the firm, how to make workers work harder. In the next few videos, we'll focus on this key question.